Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I got another story straight out of New York City for you. And what in the world is happening in New York City? Has it become the Sodom and Gomorrah of all our cities in America today? Is it the most corrupted city in America? Is it Chicago? Which one is going to win? Is it Atlanta? Which city is going to win the most corruptible city in recent time? There have been all kinds of things that have been taking place in New York City. The Eastern and Southern District courts are going to be filled with all kinds of legalities, arrests, and there have been tons of entertainers that have recently gotten in trouble with the Survivors Act. Of course, we know Puffy saga, we know Jeffrey Epstein's issues. We know that there's been a lot of political corruption. The mayor, Eric Adams, has been indicted. And his entire administration is falling apart. And now, just when you think that the unbelievable becomes the believable and the unseen becomes seen, we got another one. The top cop of New York City has been indicted. And there have been allegations of harassment, which we know on jobs and in jobs historically throughout America. Males that have been in leadership positions have for many years, whether it's corporate America, whatever industry, the entertainment industry, men have leveraged their power and have committed all kinds of abuse towards women. And here is another scenario. And why these men think that they can get away with this in these top leadership positions in today's time, all it takes is one allegation, one slander, one character assassination, and your career and your job is done. It takes a lifetime to build it. It takes 1 minute, 1 day, and one mistake to ruin it. And I think we have this going on in New York City. Is it the most corruptible city in America today? Mind you, if you go back since the year 2000, guess what city has sent more politicians and administrators and businessmen to prison since the year 2000? It's not New York. It's not California. It's not Atlanta. It is Chicago. But what is going on in New York? It seems like Rome is about to fall apart for New York City. Let's go. Top uniformed new NYPD officer resigns after sexual abuse allegations. Chief Jeffrey Madre demanded Essex favors, according to subordinates, and the federal authorities are investigating. He had previously been accused of harassment on the job. This is the police chief. Another African-American guy. He was part of Eric Adams' administration, who's also been indicted. New York City's top uniformed police officer, the chief of the department, abruptly resigned last Friday night following allegations of sexual misconduct, setting off local and federal investigations and extending years of turmoil at the police department. The former chief, Jeffrey Madre, submitted his resignation, and Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch accepted it, according to a statement from the department here recently. Mayor Eric Adams had vocally supported Chief Madre, a close ally, as recently as October. But on Saturday, a spokeswoman for the mayor, Kayla Altus, said that he was working with Commissioner Tisch to conduct a separate department-wide review to ensure no high-ranking officers are using their power inappropriately. We are deeply disturbed by these allegations, and the NYPD is investigating this matter, Ms. Altis said. The New York Post reported Saturday morning that Chief Madre had demanded SX from a subordinate, sometimes at police headquarters, in exchange for overtime. This is a crazy story. And all the nonsense is going on in New York, and these people who are in leadership roles and even on the law enforcement side think that they can get away with harassment, with essay abuse of subordinates, and they think that nobody's ever going to find out is beyond me. Trust me, the unbelievable has become the believable, and the unforeseen has been seen. Another former subordinate, Captain Gabrielle Walls, said in an interview later Saturday that Chief Madre had repeatedly made advances on her. Captain Walls said she had hidden in her hidden in her office on more than a dozen occasions to avoid advances from Chief Madre. If he found her, she said, I knew it was. She said, I knew it was when the kissing would start. So he's just literally allegedly kissing this woman in the mouth and the face, in front of others or secretly. And both of these, he's the chief and she's a police officer, an underling. And she did not want his advances. He didn't think that she would tell somebody, internal affairs or whoever. Federal investigators have joined a city department of investigation inquiry into the provision of overtime and the allegations of misconduct against Chief Madre. According to two people with knowledge of the matter, the FBI declined to comment. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office is also looking into the matter, the feds. These are extremely serious and disturbing claims that allegedly occurred at NYPD headquarters in Manhattan, said Danielle Filson, an office spokeswoman. She said, we are investigating. Neither Chief Madre nor Lambro, a lawyer who has recently represented him, responded to messages for comment. The chief of the department is in charge of all crime-fighting strategies, quality of life initiatives, and operational planning. John Xual, who has been chief of patrol, will be the interim chief, according to the police department's news release. The NYPD takes all allegations of SX misconduct seriously and will thoroughly investigate this matter, the department said in its statement on Saturday. An internal memorandum showed that several officers and supervisors would be transferred out of Chief Madre's office effective immediately. Adrian Adams, the city council speaker, on Saturday afternoon called the allegations against Chief Madre repulsive and said the investigations into the possible overtime corruption should also probe any historical systemic patterns of an abusive climate towards women. So this came to light based on a young lady who's been a police officer something like 19 years, 1 year from her possible full induction into her retirement and being fully vested. She decided to leave, but what happened was she made over $400,000 in 1 year, based on her salary of $160,000 and then over $200 and some $1,000 in overtime. And this caused a red flag about how this police officer on a desk job made almost $500,000 in 1 year. And they're saying that she is saying she had a relationship with Chief Madre and he approved her overtime. Mr. Adams, a former police captain, has taken an outsized role in the department. And Chief Madre was one of several of his associates who had reached its top echelon. Now remember, Mr. Adams is Mayor Adams. In October, the mayor said during a podcast appearance that everyone knows and loves Chief Madre. But Chief Madre rose despite a series of troubling investigations and allegations against him, including that he had once harassed a female subordinate. Throughout his 3-decade career, and long before being elevated to the department's highest uniform rank, Chief Madre faced disciplinary charges and litigation before. In August, Edward Caban, the police commissioner at the time, dismissed internal charges against Chief Madre that he had interfered with the arrest of a retired officer who had chased 3 boys while armed. In 2016, Tabitha Foster, a former officer, sued Chief Madre, accusing him of making persistent sexual advances. In 2019, a federal judge dismissed her case, and her state suit against Chief Madre was dismissed again earlier this year. See how the system is supporting their own. You hear this all the time. And this chief had harassment issues, had been sued, and the system that he represented sided with the chief and did not take these allegations prior very seriously. And as a result, it has led to this today. So, of course, he continued, if these allegations are true about harassment, he continued his behavior because he was never reprimanded for it. He was rewarded. Last week, Captain Walls asked a New York court to add Chief Madre to a sexual harassment lawsuit she had initially filed against another top chief. "I just want to come to work, do my job," she said. She said that after she filed the suit, she was transferred from Brooklyn to Queens as retaliation. On Saturday, Captain Walls said she felt vindicated by the news of Chief Madre's resignation. "They need to get them out. They are predators in the NYPD." Now, this is an officer talking about the department, she said, adding that now she was praying for more females to come forward. Chief Madre has also been named in a sexual harassment lawsuit filed against Timothy Pearson, a close confidant of Mayor Adams, who resigned from his post as a top aide this year. So Chief Madre is a part of another harassment lawsuit with this Mr. Pearson, who was accused of sexually harassing a police sergeant and then punishing her when she refused his advances. The woman accused Chief Madre of helping Mr. Pearson retaliate against her. According to Saturday's New York Post story, Chief Madre routinely preyed on this subordinate. He began asking her for Essex favors, she said, after he became chief of the department. He first made the demands in June 2023 when the woman said he bent her over a couch in his office at police headquarters in Lower Manhattan and forced her to have sex. The subordinate said they had intercourse 10 times after that, and that Chief Madre demanded other favors, like having her pay for a vacation to Miami for Chief Madre and his wife. Not only is this guy the chief, he's also married. And then he's allegedly using his power to prey on this subordinate and these Essex behaviors. And then he wants her to pay for a trip for him and his wife. This is crazy. The New York Police Department is the nation's largest, with about 50,000 civilian and uniformed employees, and is the primary point of contact with government for many residents. Chief Madre's departure comes as its top ranks are being reshaped. Mayor Adams appointed Ms. Tisch on November 20th, making her his 4th commissioner, as allegations of corruption and cronyism have buffeted the department and his administration. The mayor himself faces a federal indictment. Eric Adams has been federally charged. 3 police commissioners have quit the department in 18 months. Xual abruptly resigned without giving a reason, but current and former officials said her powers have been circumscribed by the mayor and his allies. Mr. Caban quit as commissioner in September after news broke that federal investigators had seized his phone as part of an investigation into his brother's business practices. Mr. Caban's brother. Under Commissioner Caban, top chiefs have been straying away from protocol, using the department's public information account to call reporters liars, berating them on social media, and tangling with politicians who had criticized the department. How do they have all this time to do all of this hubris and arrogance and egregiousness and still run the city? Where are they finding all the time and the energy to do all of this? Harassment, taking advantage of folks. An interim commissioner, Thomas Dolan, filled in until Miss Tish was appointed. Commissioner Tish appears to be trying to restore order. On Thursday, she said she would replace the department's top spokesman with Delaney Kempner, who has been the top spokeswoman for Letitia James, the New York Attorney General. The allegations against Chief Madre present a new challenge for Commissioner Tish, who is still shaping her administration and only beginning to outline her vision for how the department should be ran. Captain Derby St. Fort, who has promoted changes to police practices, said the allegations showed that officers mistrusted the internal resources meant to protect them, specifically the Internal Affairs Bureau. That's where you're supposed to go when you have issues in your department, and Office of Equity and Inclusion, which is responsible for investigating and preventing harassment and abuse. This is the reason why officers are expressing their voices through the media and lawsuits, Captain Fort said. They feel like they don't have any choice. And that is very true. Even as a citizen, if you had an illegal stop, an officer harassed you on the street, and you felt, or even gave you a ticket, let alone harassed you, and if you got their name and their badge number, the place you go is to Internal Affairs. But just like in any other scenario, Internal Affairs is supposed to be there to gather information for citizens' complaints or issues that are taking place in a negative way. But many times, Internal Affairs of these police departments throw it in the trash and they just protect the officers. I had a scenario like that 25 years ago in St. Louis, where I had a stop, did not get a ticket. They illegally searched my car. There was nothing in there. I went to Internal Affairs on the south side of St. Louis. And of course, they berated me while I was trying to give them the information they needed for this corrupt cop. And of course, they didn't do anything with my report or my allegation against that cop. So they're all working together. So now the beautiful thing about in today's world, if you can't go through internal affairs or the interdepartmental avenues to try to get something done as an officer or even as a civilian, put it on social media, blast them, and hold your guns to what you believe is true and honest and helpful. We have to get rid of these corruptible cops. We need proper public safety in order for us to live in a civilized country. And these stories are showing you that the ones that are some of these individuals that are wearing the blue uniform and the badge are behaving either equally or worse than the criminals that are roaming our streets. We are going to hell in a handbasket if we don't make our police departments accountable. Our public safety should be a positive premium, or we are going to be in a form of the end of times and complete social and civilian unrest. Tell me what you think about this story where the top police chief in New York City resigned as a result of harassment issues and SX misconduct, even at the offices, the Manhattan Department headquarters during his tenure.